What's going on, everybody? Oh, hold on. Let me get this edited. Heero, edit that out. Three, two, one.
And
No.
that was probably one of the best decisions we ever could have made. It wasn't the easiest financially, but I will say to have that time where we could bond because we didn't live together before we got married. So it was good to have that bonding time. It was good to have all that, just the quality time together.
Yeah.
Soon as I hit the stage, boy, bet I go crazy, bet I go crazy, bet I go crazy. You messing with my money, boy.
What's
Bet I
going on,
go
everybody?
crazy.
Welcome back to Facts Only. I'm your host, E.T. Facts. I got a celebrity in the building. Here she go with the giggles. Now this is my wife. Some of y'all hear me talk about this all the time. Yes, I do have a wife. Yes, she is black, and yes, she is on my lap, right where God intended for her to be. So, her and I have a lot of conversations about life and the stuff we see. We have lots of friends, family, acquaintances, associates that tend to just talk to us about what they got going on. And her and I often talk about these conversations that we have because we don't understand what other people are going through. And maybe that's ignorant. Maybe we are so far removed from the single life that we don't get some of these things. And maybe we just are different because of the way our relationship is. And so, understanding that, we talk about that a lot because it seems to come up a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
I mean, several times a week, no matter who it is. We're not here to talk about who said what, anything specific. We're really just here to talk about us and how we ended up getting together. I think it's important for people to have another perspective on how things can actually be. We're not trying to force relationships on people where I'm trying to force, black folks to get married, but I'm very unsuccessful, admittedly, and I'm okay with that. I'm torn there. I don't believe that there's really any incentive for a lot of men, most men, to get married today, just because of the way society is set up. It is set up to take resources from people, and anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not getting down into that, but I wanted to really kind of tell our story. It's funny because we were just kind of talking about it. And the thing that I asked Shawnee, I was like, have you ever been to Walmart late at night and when you're walking through those aisles, either back in like the electronic section or back in like in the middle section right before the register, they had those big those big bins with the bargain basement um, items. I told Shawnee, I said, yeah, that's where you found me at, rummaging through one of those bins late at night. Like, I'm feeling a little nostalgic. There's my favorite box of Swedish Fish or Sour Patch Kids or Jujubes, whatever it is, Junior Mints. It was Shawnee like Junior Mints.
I love them.
Yeah, so I was a box of Junior Mints, and you know, wasn't very expensive. Wasn't very expensive, but she still took it. And I know I say all this to be, to be humorous, and it is a bit self-deprecating. But at the end of the day, when Shawnee and I met each other, this was 2010. This was in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We were both um, in a Bible school, and we actually ended up on a lot of the same projects, a lot of the same, outreach teams. We did a lot of street evangelism.
A lot.
We were in the same street evangelism team. I know us, we don't seem like the type of people to go knocking on doors trying to convert people for Jesus, but yeah, we definitely did that for several years. And crazy thing was, when I moved there in 2010. I literally had a military ruck, which I will never get rid of because it always reminds me of where I came from and where I'm going. And if ever I needed to, I could fill that ruck back up and we could hitch our wagon and tuck tail get out of Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
But I had that and a backpack on my front with my prized possession, my rap journal, which I always kept a rap journal and a couple of my favorite books. And I would just, that was it. That was all my worldly possessions. I had given everything away when I left Dallas in 2010. And I got there, I had nothing. I slept on someone's floor for like 2 months, and then somebody else felt pity and took me in. Y'all know who? Well, no, they probably will never see this. They don't even live in this country anymore. Took me in. It was very providential, like the whole thing. And 2011, we started getting to know each other. Part of that was me being nosy. So Shawnee was dating somebody at the time. Hey, me and him, same height, definitely not the same looks. I am so much more handsome than that guy. And obviously committed. He was supposed to come down there. He just decided his $60,000 a year job at Verizon and his white Toyota Corolla and his condo and wherever he was in Northern Virginia were more important than, pursuing what you said, you felt called to do. Mm-hmm. So, pause there, man. If you tell a woman that you feel like you're supposed to do something and you chicken out, don't expect respect. Get back to my story.
Real talk. That's good.
Let's stay on there for a second. Women, do you say, Shawnee, that women respect men who make legitimate decisions and follow through on those decisions?
Absolutely. Well, because we believe in people being a person of their word. And that means a lot to real women. It does. Yeah. So,
when we first started talking, first of all, Shawnee was completely oblivious to the fact that I liked her at all.
Actually, I really just thought he was nosy. Really nosy, because he would always ask me questions. What would you say? How old boy's doing?
Yeah, how old boy doing? I mean, listen, I didn't owe him the respect of saying his name. Like he didn't earn that at all. So,
well, this is the thing. Eric and I didn't really we couldn't date because it was very strict with the rules at Bible college. But he was very respectful though. When I was dating the guy, he wasn't trying to do anything. We really were just legit friends, and I'd appreciated that. And the one thing that I can also say when it comes to relationships, the foundation for us was Jesus, also a friendship too. And we won't talk about that whole falling in and falling out of love stuff. I think that'll be. You want to talk about that?
We here now. It's after hours. We might as well just get into it.
Yeah.
First of all, Shawnee knows I don't believe in that crap falling in love, falling out of love. Listen, love is a decision, and Shawnee and I have talked about it. When you love somebody, first of all, you decide to give your love based on a person falling into your requirements for a relationship. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's just be real for a second and say that. Like, I got 6 or 7 things that matter to me that let me know that this person deserves to have my love. There's no such thing as unconditional love, in my opinion. Some people believe that there is. Some people believe that they should get love without any conditions. If you get love without conditions, you will not respect the love you get.
Yeah.
And this is why so many people end up getting together. Oh, he didn't make me happy. Oh, he don't love me unconditionally. Oh, he didn't love my flaws. She didn't like this and she didn't do that. It's just pointing a finger for people not being accountable for their laziness in the relationship. And let's just be honest, that's all that it is. Everybody's love comes with conditions. You have to decide to give it away. You do not get it by default.
Well, you need to have conditions because really, if that's the case, they can just do whatever they want and you'll just be okay with it. So you do need to have some kind of conditions.
Yeah. But anywho, so like I said, when we got together, man, boy, it was like 2012, like because we couldn't. Yeah. So I ended up moving to Virginia Beach. Shout out to Hampton Road 757. Mm-hmm. I ended up moving there. I was there like 4.5 months, and we had been talking about getting married, and again, a condition. Hey, I'm living here. If you want to get married, move out. Fortunate for me, Shawnee had lived there. She did her undergrad there at Virginia Wesleyan College. and she had friends in the area, and it was a place that she was familiar with, and she took a leap of faith and moved out there. Now, at the time, we weren't making any money. I was making $250 a week, and Shawnee wasn't making any money initially. You know, she was a live-in nanny for a friend, and that ended up not working out. Thank God we sat down, we had real conversations, we were open. We ended up saving up enough money, and that's a whole nother story how we got to that, which, shoot, man. Since we're here, let's just go ahead and tell everybody the whole thing. So, Shawnee moved in with a friend under the guise that she would be a nanny, and she was going to this person owned the business. How you gonna come work part-time at the business? But what happened was she spent more time nannying and not enough time working the business, so she wasn't actually earning any money. It was basically like, hey, we feed you, we house you, this is what you're going to do. It was an impossible situation
to get out
for her to get out of. And Shawnee is not a lazy person. She didn't want to be. She's not a nanny. She's college degree, professional.
I was made to be a businesswoman.
I mean, so straight up, that wasn't gonna cut the mustard. And
but I will tell you, it did teach me a lot of things of what I want and what I don't want. So it did.
When you take enough L's, you figure out real quickly ways to win. So you ended up. I was being diligent. I didn't have to pay. I only had to pay for food. I didn't have to pay for anything else in my living situation. So I just was stacking my pennies away. And one day it kind of came down to it. She had enough. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, this is the plan. You can't just dip right away. So what we did was strategic. I just moved the stuff.
Little by little.
Little by little. And I said, until you get down to a big suitcase. I said, because they won't notice that. If you take all your stuff out, that's going to be real obvious, and that's going to be an uncomfortable situation. And I went on Craigslist and found her a room for rent, and we went and met the lady. Shawnee, I pulled up. Shawnee went in, met the lady. She liked it, and then we went and put money down. Shawnee, told the lady, hey, I need this for this long because I'm getting married, and that was the whole deal. And so put the money down. We dipped out of that situation. First of all, these people were shocked. They were like, well, how can you afford to do that? That's the question they asked. How can you afford to do that? I'm like, first of all, that's none of your business. Y'all wasn't breaking no bread off anyway. And Shawnee already know I felt about I don't like grimy people, especially when people say they Christians and they grimy like that. I wasn't down for it at all. So all that stuff happened. She moved out. Like a month later, I proposed to her.
Well, actually, you proposed to me before I moved out. You did.
I did?
Yeah, you proposed to me before I moved out.
Oh, yeah, because they was throwing shade. Oh, that's in that little ring. And I was like, say, bro, Shawnee accepted the ring that I gave her.
I didn't think. Well, I don't have it on now because I'm a personal trainer. So so I always wear my silicone ring, and people are always like, "Where?" So I really do have a ring. Yeah. But we don't have to go into that.
Yeah. And I'm in the medical field. I do surgery. I have a silicone ring downstairs, but when I'm at home, I take all my stuff off.
Yeah.
And just anyway, so I don't have mine on, obviously, but that's neither here nor there. So we just ended up doing that, and what happened was. I didn't have a job, and I was still kind of interning at this place I was, and making $250 a week. And that intern situation wasn't working out. There was no talks about full-time, nothing. And I'm doing full-time work and getting peanuts. It was just like, all right, cool. So I ended up getting a job offer 2 days before we were set to say I do. But I still couldn't start that job for like two months after that. So it was tough, man. We ended up saving a decent amount of money.
Yep.
Huh?
Oh, Jess.
Ah, yeah. Go ahead, do your thing.
Okay.
Do your thing.
I'm wearing pajamas.
Yeah. They don't care. They know it's late night. We recording this. We don't care. PJs. I mean, they don't need to know what we got on below this. But yeah, man, we ended up doing that and left that internship, got that job offer, but we saved up money, got married, and we lived in an extended stay.
For 3 months.
2.5 months.
2.5, 3 months.
Yeah, whatever. And, man, we ran out of money right before I got my first paycheck. and we slept in the car in a blizzard. If any of y'all from Texas and know that blizzard we got, it was basically like that. And we slept in our car a couple of days, and that's me waking up every 30, 40 minutes to crank the car on whenever I felt the chill, was to crank the car on. We had 3 or 4 layers of clothes, blankets, and we just cranked the car on. I warmed the car up for her so she could sleep. We only had one car. It was her car. And that was it, man. While we were in extended stay, I was on Craigslist again looking for a place for us to rent. Ended up finding a little 2-bed, 1-bath duplex in a decent part of town, and we went and rented that. That was like $750 a month, and I was the only one who had a job at the time, but my job was more than enough to cover the rent and bills and all the other stuff we had to do. And Shawnee didn't work the first year. We spent all of our time cooking, eating, hanging out, and doing the other things that married people do that y'all already know.
That was probably one of the best decisions we ever could have made. It wasn't the easiest financially, but I will say to have that time where we could bond, because we didn't live together before we got married. So it was good to have that bonding time. It was good to have all that, just the quality time together. That made a difference.
It made a huge difference because we quickly figured out what we liked, we didn't like. We never went to bed mad. We had a disagreement, and Shawnee and I during our dating phase, we really rarely had disagreements. We didn't really fight. We don't even fight now. I know y'all gonna be like, man, whatever. I was like,
we disagree, but we don't like yell at.
We don't swear. We don't do any of that. We make ugly faces at each other for sure. Like, I'm not rocking with what you just said, but you know what we do? We handle it immediately and we forget. We keep going. You know why? Because we have a goal and a mission for our life, and these small disagreements are. If we get right here, we'll stay stuck and we'll never move to the place we're trying to go. And to us, that's more important than being right. And that's a lot of things. People get in their pride and their ego and they want to be right. They never apologize, say sorry. They never concede the point. They never say, I can see where you're coming from. And those things are super important when you're on your road to finding somebody to do life with. If that's your goal. If it's not, hey, man, I get it. Enjoy the video. Enjoy our story. And just take it for what it is. But we've seen a lot of things through this time. We've been married over 7 years now, and we started out with nothing. We had nothing. I mean, and I said now we're at the place like you guys, the stimulus check. You guys know the limits. Together we make enough money to not receive a stimulus check, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. And we're doing very well for ourselves. I say I'm not gonna go out here. It's not about us bragging, but we're doing very well. I mean, we're to the point that Shawnee's 37. Her goal is to retire at 40, and my goal is to retire when she retires. So I got less than 3 years to go, and I honestly think we're on pace for that.
We are.
And retirement means being financially independent, and that's a whole nother thing we'll get into after we've checked off a few more things. We'll come back and talk to you guys on how we did that and why we made the decisions that we made, because this is the name of the game, is to get yourself in a position where you're not beholden to people, a job that you're not either passionate about. There's no long-term security there. The bag ain't right. The people ain't right. Whatever it is, like getting out, especially if you got an entrepreneurial spirit and you got the mindset and discipline and a plan and all that. So it's funny because tell y'all a story to get to the more juicy or sad, I don't know, part of this is that Shawnee has told our story to so many women. Shawnee, like tell the people like some of the reactions you've gotten.
Well, I'm going to kind of back up just for a second, because when I tell a lot of gals that I meet, some of my single friends, and I tell them, what I really had to, I don't want to say deal with or handle, because I don't think those are the best words, but I had to face the reality of this is what's going on. I was making double what he was making when we first met.
Hold on, you can't tell women that, because they can be like, ooh. No.
He was.
And Shawnee, what's your question to them when they tell you that?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
When girls tell you that they would never be willing to do that.
Well, an Eric question is, how is that working out for you? I don't ask that question. He wants me to ask people that.
Well, I do.
That's not a Shawnee thing. That's an Eric thing. But for me, I just tell them everything that we've been through. So especially for me, because when we met, I was the one who had the car. I was the one who, like I said, who was making more. I was the one who had the degrees as well. 2 degrees under my name. Well, 2 after I had graduated from. I went to master's, did a 1 year of that, and then undergrad at Virginia Wesleyan, and then we had met at Bible College. So I actually had had 2 by the time we had really made it official. And I'll tell you, degrees are great. Education is so important, but it really doesn't make a woman. And I will tell you, it really and truly doesn't really matter to most men. I have to just tell you that.
And Shawnee, tell them why degrees and accomplishments generally don't matter to most men.
Well, because really, to be honest with you, they just want someone nice. And I think sometimes what happens is with women, and I can only talk from my own experience too, because going to grad school and going to undergrad at a private college, I wasn't ever egotistical, I don't think, was I, about that? No. But I did share all of my degrees and stuff with him, and he was just like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Hey, listen, so I'm going to put it in man terms. Now, for y'all, those of y'all watching this who watch the podcast, it matters to Heero. It doesn't matter to me. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because man can't have sex with your degrees. A man can't have sex with your accomplishments. A man can't have sex with your house, your car, your bank account. Because most of that crap you're not going to share with me anyway. And so I can't be worried about that. And then at the end of the day, the majority of the time, I'm expected to shoulder the majority of the financial responsibility for our lifestyle. So I can't be focused on your accomplishments because I don't get to. They're of no use to me until you decide that I can have access to those, or that you want to share in some of the responsibility. And I get it. A lot of ladies, I see them on YouTube talking about, I want to be equal. I want to go 50-50. And I'm like, man, yeah, whatever. Yeah, y'all won't anyway. I'm not gonna go super hard on that point. But ultimately, look forward to hearing that. Well, not hearing, seeing what y'all put down in the comment section about the video. Hope y'all learned something about me. Y'all can kind of connect with me. I'm obviously gonna be doing more videos. Like this. She'll be making guest appearances. Other people gonna be making guest appearances. So, really want your feedback. Hope we can identify with each other. This is the Identity Booth, and this has been Facts Only. Again, so I'm ET Facts, the host, and then this is my lovely wife, the one that Heero always shouts out, Shawnee. So now y'all.
I love Heero.
Yeah, so now y'all can see. Yeah, even though we don't agree on a lot of stuff, we still love each other. But that's what brothers do. So appreciate y'all coming by and hanging out with us. And we'll catch up with y'all.
Bye.
And I'm sleep deprived, shorty on my line and we fuss and fight. Seems like every night, don't care who's wrong or right. I hope the end is sight. Slow it down and we can catch the vibes.